Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you'd like to see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2019, hot off the presses. It's only been out for a week now, and we continue our journey on episode number 3 in the series. We are now about to get our conference schedule underway. Our non-conference schedule, we went 5 and 6. While this is that carryover from my previous series, in terms of attributes, the team is all new, and they're not really up to par for the level that we're at. So this is going to be a bit of a struggle this year. The big thing is I do not want to be in the bottom 4 places to be relegated. So we're going to start with North Carolina. And that looks like, what is that, Greenville? Greensboro. Yeah, I knew that. North Carolina and Greensboro. Alright, we will watch this game, but then I'm going to fly through most of the season. There's not going to be a whole lot of excitement this season again, as the team is a bit below par at the moment on where they should be at. I'm going to start using the 2D view instead of the Gamecast, as I like what they've done with that. It's a little awkward at speed 10, which we will be spending most of the game at the speed 10, but it's nice. It's much improved from the 2017 edition that I played last. I skipped over to 2018, so I didn't get a chance to really see how that one looked. The one thing I don't like, though, is the start-stop strategy, which I have not figured out how to keep the game going continuously and not stop for alerts. But North Carolina Greensboro opens the game with a 5-0 lead. 3 minutes into it, we have not scored yet, so we are struggling really at both ends of the court. We are the blue and green side. That continues to be scoreless until we finally get a shot. Mel Porter. And it looks like he's got an and one. And he secures the free throw to cut the lead to 2. So amazingly, after 4 minutes of not scoring, we're only down by 2 points. Right now, North Carolina is 2 for 7, now 2 for 8, and we are 1 for 5. Rebounds -1, turnovers -1, but both teams shooting pretty poorly. But after some free throws there, Mickey Williams now has 3 points with an and one. So both of our scores have been and ones, and that actually gave us the lead. But after 2 free throws and... oh, that was a 3, yes. Alan Chambers made a 3 there, so we're scoring all of our points in 3s, whether it's and ones or from beyond the arc. But interesting start to the game for us on that one. But our second set of 4 minutes goes a bit better as we get 9 points in that stretch. And the score is level at 9. Charity hurting us a bit as North Carolina's been there a little bit more than we have. We are 2 for 2 right now. They're 4 for 6. There we go. 2 quick buckets, and it's 13-11. Yeah, I don't mind that they have this setup, but with the starts and stops, it does make it a little easier to follow the pace of the game, but it slows down the video. That's the only thing, is if I want to get through the amount of content I want to get through, I'm not going to be able to show as many games as I did in the last playthrough, because I'd still like to get through 21 seasons in the course of, what was that, 63 episodes that last series, so you know, about 3 episodes per season. And traditionally, as I have done here, I split it up with the first half of the season tends to be 1 episode, the second half of the season tends to be 1 episode, and every once in a while I'll have to get a 3rd episode if we're getting deeper into tournaments, or I do a recruiting special off-season. So that's the pace of what to expect here. But with 4 minutes to go in the first half, we lead by 1, and it looks like we just stretched out a little further. So 22-20 now. Rebounds, -1. Turnovers now a +2. Both teams not shooting well. Pretty similarly, we're 7 of 22, they're 8 of 21. But we are 9 of 10 from the free throw line, while they are 5 of 9. So that's about the difference right now. While we're 1 for 8 beyond the arc, so that's hurting both teams on 9 fouls, about to go into the double bonus for the final 2 minutes of the half. This might be a good time to use a 30-second timeout. Take 2 free throws. Levels the score. Prepared us for what to do next, and didn't come out of that timeout terribly well, but we get back to the free throw line to equal the score again here, the final minute. 30 seconds now in the half, and they just got 2 possessions in a row there. I'm not sure. We must have turned it over. We do pick up a 3-pointer to cut the lead to 1 at the half. Second half underway now. Again, rebounds -2, turnovers -1. Field goal percentage dropped a bit, so they made some buckets right before halftime to pull ahead that department. Otherwise, things are pretty level. 3-pointers, though, much improved. We were 1 of 8, now 3 of 13, so a couple makes there on the last 5 attempts. Picks that percentage up a little bit. And the game remains tight. We are on the road for this one, so anytime. If you know this series, if you know this game at all, kicked ball is the call on that one. It is always going to be home court advantage giving an edge to almost every team, unless there's a huge disparity in quality. The home team's always going to have a pretty good chance. I'd say there's about a 20% boost to the odds of winning from having home court advantage. Okay, we take the lead there, 43-41 at the moment. Field goal percentage is up a little higher, but still not looking so good. But we are now +5 on rebounds. Still shooting 80% from the free throw line. 5 made threes, so now 2 out of the last 4 attempts there is boosting us up a bit. 12 minutes to go here in the half. It's a tender lead. It's still pretty tight. Let's see. Mel Porter has had 5 turnovers in this game. He's sitting on 8 points and 6 boards. So he looks like he could be on his way to a triple-double, but not the kind of triple-double you want. 10 turnovers is not a very good stat, but Porter just made it to double figures on 10 points. Mickey Williams has 9 of his own, as does Michael Henderson. So we got 3 guys all at or around the double-digit scoring mark. And with a 1-point lead, halfway to go in the second half. Nice dunk there, 49-46 now. And we add a couple more, and this might be our biggest lead of the game at 5 points. But they come roaring right back with 3 points there. Not sure if that was 3 free throws that they got, but Jasper Marks has 12 points. Terrence Roll with 10. Brian Farmer from the bench has 9. Colt Carr's having a decent little game here. 7 points, 3 assists. He's got 5 rebounds. He is in foul trouble, though, with 3. But even worse, Alan Chambers and Mickey Williams both on 4 fouls with 8 minutes to go in this game. That is absolutely a factor in things. I'm a middle school varsity basketball coach, and we just had a game a couple days ago where we had a 6-point lead with 2.5 minutes to play. We ended up losing the game after our top player fouled out just before that moment, and defensively we then struggled to contain their best player, who I think scored all of the points to end the game, and for us to lose by 2 with about a second to go when the final score came. And with 2 minutes to go in this one, we now trail here. Likewise, it is absolutely time for me to use a full timeout here. What can we do? Down 3 with 1:40 to play. These guys haven't fouled out, so they are back into the game. Chambers there. Ross, ouch, Ross. What's going on here? 4 rebounds, but that's been about it. 0 for 3 shooting on the day. Mel Porter 3 for 12. We got a shot in this game, but it's going to be tight. Out of the timeout, what can we do? We draw the foul. Carr makes the first free throw. He makes the second. Inbound play. Pressure, full court. It's a 1-point game, minute 23 to play. Ball moving around the perimeter. Down into the corner. Back up around the perimeter on the wing. Now they've got it into the free throw line. High post. They recycle it back out. And the 3 is good. The 3 is good. A minute to play now, and we are in trouble. 4 seconds. We draw the foul. It looks like we were shooting a 3 on that. Shots missed. But Ross goes to the free throw line. And coming off of just 1 point in the game, he makes 2 free throws. And no 3 free throws. This time we set up back in the defensive end. 50 seconds to go in the game. Trailing by 2. 3-point attempt is missed. And I'm going to take a 30-second timeout here with 41 seconds to play. Set up a play. Coming out of the timeout here. There's the inbounds. And we move the ball underneath, but it's turned over. The ball is stolen. And now with 30 seconds to play, we're in real trouble here. Down 2 and without possession. Wagner takes it into the free throw line. He's going to shoot, but the offensive rebound absolutely destroys us. Marks gets the rebound and goes back up. Draws the foul, so he's going to go to the free throw line. I think he only made 1 of 2. He did. He only made 1 of 2. So 3-point game, 20 seconds to play. Looks like we drew the foul. Where they at? 8 fouls. This should be a 1-and-1. No! The foul was on me. Offensive foul. Are you kidding me? We got called for the offensive foul. Wow. 7 seconds. Definitely going to yell at the refs after that one. And that's it. So, called for the offensive foul on what became our final possession of the game, other than that literal last second. And we go down 69-64. Statistically, we were -4 turnovers. We were +2 rebounds. But they shot the ball better. And that's been the story of the season so far from what I've seen. We were very much better at the free throw line. Both teams getting to the line a similar number of times. Part of the reason why we didn't shoot so well was 40% of our attempts came from the 3-point line, where we only managed to make 6 of them. So poor shooting beyond the arc was kind of the main factor in our overall poor field goal shooting. But really, that offensive foul with a chance to tie the game was what it really came down to. Hey, what are you doing? It's end of game. Let's go. There we go. Alright, so our opening conference game is a loss, a very, very close loss on the road. There is some hope that we can get above bottom 4, though, at least, based on that performance. But let's go ahead and get through the week and We'll see what happens. Oh, wait. Let's stop simulation. I do need to check my recruiting before we get too much further. I know that there's going to be a contact week somewhere here, I believe, in January, so we need to double check that. I believe I already hit stop. Still go through. Oh, and I've got an injured player. There's an injured player. So we need to check that as well. Okay, it's evaluation week. Let's go key dates. And no, okay, it's not January, it is in March. March is when I need to watch out for that. But let's check the roster. And it is Michael Henderson. That is not good. What is the prognosis? Strained abdominal. He's at 75% for the next week. So he can play through it, but he's going to be a bit less effective over the next week. And that's certainly going to make our task that much harder. So that brings the overall record to 5-7. Really, that 5-6 means absolutely nothing, as I'm not in contention for any postseason tournaments this year, or at least that's what I'm expecting. So really, it's the conference record that is going to matter most. So our 16 games in conference, if we cannot be above the bottom 4, we're going to be relegated. So we're going to definitely need to pull off some wins. If we go 500, that's perfect. That is absolutely brilliant. If we only manage about 6 wins, that's probably going to be relegation, as we drop to 0-2 in conference, losing our second game. Next up, we have Northwestern, who are 8-5 overall, but we are at home. Northwestern's a pretty decent basketball team. Little surprised that they are, well, we're in the 6th tier, so that actually makes some sense. We're getting top mid-majors plus the bottom end of Big 5 programs now. I've just been so used to climbing my way up from the very, very bottom with the lowest prestige schools for so long, but now that the program's as high as it is, competition's definitely tougher. And it makes it that much harder to grab some wins this season.
You have new mail. You have new mail.
Okay, we've got a team incident. Let's see. The tension was walking around. Overheard Ed Leonard, Julius Windland, so many times having a loud argument. Windland is somebody I need to take a check on here real quick. Windland is, because this guy's pretty toxic. Windland's a junior. Oh, and he's a walk-on? Oh, okay. Here we go. I'm going to have a talk with him for the second time this season. And I'm going to seriously tell him to knock it off. And if he doesn't, he's going to get cut. There we go. Call player. Attitude. I did it gently before. Strongly admonish and blame player. There we go. This time, I actually got a response from him, so. That's good. That is good. Alright, let's check in GPA, how we looking. 2.8 is the lowest, and it's Colt Carr. I'm not worried about that. He's not running any danger. If it was a backup player, I'd probably tell him to study more for a couple weeks. Okay. Oh, hold on. I wanted to check the... I'm still finding things. There we go. Team schedule. Getting used to the new layout of the UI. So Virginia Commonwealth, that was a home game. Their RPI is 60, so they are a better team, even though they're only 7-6, and my RPI is 254. So quite the gap between us. We lost by 11, even though that was a home game. Next up, Northwestern. They've got a high RPI as well, so not going to be easy. Rhode Island on the road, 32nd. Ouch. There, finally, Alabama, Birmingham. That could be our first conference win. It would be nice, though, if we could beat Northwestern. I will not watch the game, but I will just go day by day so we can at least see the score, see the box score here. I would presume our upcoming road game on the back half of the week is going to be a loss. Yep, that was a loss. We dropped to 0-3, 78-60. That was, I don't even want to see that box score. That's ugly. We'll finish the week off. We could easily drop to 0-4 here. So we are looking likely to be relegated this season and have to work our way back up over time as I recruit better players into the program. Part of the problem for me was my rise in that previous series was so fast. It was season after season. I mean, I'd made the NCAA tournament the last 7 seasons straight. I was only ever relegated once, and that was in my 3rd season. I think my second season, I rose above the bottom tier, and in my 3rd season, I went right back down to the bottom tier before I finally really established things. And we do lose that game. So 5-10 overall, 0-4 in conference. Next up, it's not showing their name. UAB. Yeah, UAB. University of Alabama, Birmingham coming up. And that in real life is a pretty decent team. But they are definitely among the lower RPI teams so far this season, at least when I checked in on them a week ago, and the fact that we're playing at home, best chance for a win at this point in conference. Meanwhile, in the national rankings, it's Kentucky on top. Gonzaga is 2nd, and have been on both of those campuses. Georgia Tech currently ranked 3rd at 17-0. And they actually just moved up to 2nd as Gonzaga picked up their 3rd loss of the season. So Georgia Tech looks like the last undefeated team in the country. It's probably just scouting reports again. Yes. Well, let's take a look. So Wyoming is an 8-8 team. How do we compare to them? Pretty balanced, actually. They've got a deeper bench. But positionally, we are balanced with Carr actually being the better power forward. So they're just 1-3 in conference. So there you go. So Wyoming actually apparently one of the bottom teams, and we will be at home. So that is a must-win for us. To be honest with you, that is absolutely a must-win. St. Joe's 9-7 overall. They are also 1-3 in conference. So we've got 2. Much better we are. Both of those games coming up, St. Joe's and Wyoming, are must-wins for us. Georgia State is 11-2. We're going to get crushed by them, but UAB just 5-9, so they have a similar record. So I've got 3 games coming up that we very much need to win. Very much. This was a week ago, so that this has changed. But again, we're the much better team. So I've got 3 games out of the next 4 that need to be wins, and if that puts us to 3-5, if we do win all 3 of those games, that'll go a long ways to getting us off the bottom of the league where we currently reside in the cellar. It is still January, so nothing going on recruiting-wise at the moment. We do have 3 recruits already signed up for next year. All 3 very good recruits, so we're looking good in that department. We've got a couple more spots to fill, though. Alright, so UAB will sim through. Nothing to see right now until we get late in the season and really know where we're at. These are very big games for us for being this early in the conference schedule, but we just can't afford to drop to, like say 0-8. That would be for sure. And there you go. First must-win game of the season is a loss, and it's an 8-point loss as UAB takes this one 85-77. They did it on a strong first half. We had a 15-point lead at some point. I would presume that was it early on in the game. For us to lose by 8, I doubt it happened late in the game if we were down by that much at the half. Points in the paint, we absolutely got demolished there. Likewise in the fast break. Carr had 23. Good game for him. 7 rebounds overall to go with it. Porter just 7 points. Brandon Ross had 11. Ross not a very good shooter, 2 of 7. So that's clearly one position where I'm struggling. Okay, this next game very much looking like a loss. Which is going to drop us to 0-6. We'll take our first look at the conference standings after this next game, once we wrap up this week. Let's see just how bad things are. The good news, the glass, well, I can't say half full, but the glass not totally empty, the glass having some sort of liquid in it. Outlook is that it can only get better from here. Can we get a surprise upset on the road at Georgia State, who's 13-3 overall? Funny to even suggest it. I'd say we've got a 10% chance in this game. It's a road game. They got the 20% bonus, and they are far, far better than us in the standings. Crazier things have happened, though. 0-6. Saw that one coming. Our RPI right at the bottom right now, 267. And we've got an injured player. Are you kidding me? It's bad enough that you beat up on us with an 18-point victory, but you take out one of my guys in the process. And it's Henderson again. And it's a broken wrist. And he's out for a month and a half. And he's out 12%. So, our season is just about done now. One of our best players, let's see, ratings, Henderson, just 1.5, I guess. I thought he was higher up than that, though. Okay, he's our 9th man. So I guess it's not as big of a deal as expected. It does put Cordell Crosby a bit higher up, as well as Jason Williams are going to be slotting above him now. So that's not as big of a loss as I thought it was. For some reason, I thought Carr was the starting center, and it was Henderson starting power forward. Not the case. So a bit relieved there. It's still unfortunate the loss of the player for a while. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings now and see just how bad it is. Of course, we are last place. St. Joe's is on our schedule this week and at home, and they are 1-5. It doesn't get any more important than that game. Right now, our mark is about 3 wins to get out of the cellar. Wyoming also coming up this week. They are 3-3. UAB is 5-1. Okay, so I feel a little bit better about losing that game. Georgia State also 5-1, so both losses this week. against teams that are absolutely at the top of the standings. Home and away, we are 3-6 at home, just 2-6 on the road. That's actually a promising sign that we have had a couple road wins. We need to play a little bit better at home, though. St. Joe's is 7-2 at home, just 2-7 on the road. So that's encouraging that St. Joe's is our next game, and it's a home game. I've already said we had a must-win earlier, but apparently that was not the team to have a must-win against. Wyoming, it's going to be tougher. They're just 2-5 on the road, so I really need both games this week. If I lose them both, though, guaranteed we're going down this season. Let's go day by day. Still in January, so nothing doing there. Yeah, Anderson, 45 days. I like that you can flick through that and while games are being simulated. Okay, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Not moment of truth. That wasn't our day. Forgot we weren't to the day yet of the game. Getting nervous for my guys. We were 5-6 non-conference schedule, but when you're in the 6th tier out of 23, you're going to be better than some teams below you. And so we did manage to get some wins, but now that we're in conference and now playing in one of those top conferences, I mean, if we're talking about Power 5, right, we're now the top mid-major conference.
You have new mail. You have new mail. If
we're talking a comparison. Fresno State, 12-6 overall. Their South Carolina. Is that a home game? Oh, thank you. Okay, we've got a chance at 3 wins in the next 4 games. I mean, that would bring us to 3-7, which is still not a good record, but that would get us close to getting out of the bottom 4, especially with beating 3 rivals that are struggling in the bottom of the league. Georgia Tech's still undefeated right now. Okay, we'll go day by day for the next couple weeks, as this is very important games for us. St. Joe's, can we get our first conference win? Come on. Get it done. Get it done. Let's go, guys. Let's go. There it is. There it is. Okay. We got that first win, finally. 10-point victory over St. Joe's, 79-69. And it came on a strong second half. We had a 13-point lead at some point, probably late in the game. 12 lead changes, 2 ties, so a lot of back and forth. I would presume that was early on. This time, points in the paint, 32-24, so much better job in that. Porter had 19, Williams had 14, Ross had 9, Colt Carr only 2 shot attempts and just 3 points, so very quiet day for him. John Cook, great day off the bench. In 9 minutes, he goes 3 for 3 from the field, 2 of those beyond the arc, adds a couple of free throws, a couple of assists, a couple of steals, and a block for 10 points and a plus 10 performance. Also, Cordell Crosby in 12 minutes, likewise goes 3 for 3 and has 8 points and a plus 14. So, bench, thank you, thank you, thank you. We shot 52% from the field in that game. Alright, we are finally on the board in the win column in conference play. We cannot afford to stop there, though, because 1-15 is absolutely going to get us relegated. So we've got to turn this into a little bit of momentum now. The next game, Wyoming, they're 11-8, and they're a bit tougher. I think they were 8-8, so that's 3 straight conference wins for them, which would definitely have them in the upper half of the league. So this is not going to be an easy game. I'd probably put us below a 50% chance, as bad as we've been up till now. So a little worried. Meanwhile, though, Georgia Tech gets their 20th win, and they continue the streak. I don't see how the pundits would put them below Kentucky at this point, who are 18-3. Even if Kentucky might be the better team if they were to play Georgia Tech, still, you've got an undefeated team, and Yellow Jackets are certainly not a bad team. All right, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Can we get a streak going? Can we get 2 in a row? This is definitely a more difficult game. St. Joe's was the next team in the standings above us. And we were at home. Can we beat a decent team at home? We do, yes. Ooh, 85-72. Nice job, guys. Look at that effort. Other than Brandon Ross, a point shy. That's double digits from the entire starting group. And Ross, the only one who struggled here in the plus-minus department. But there, Tyler Bellamy comes in, 24 points, 6 of 9 shooting, and a whole bunch of threes across the board there for 19 and a plus-6. And that was a second half runaway. Look at that game. Back and forth. Pretty balanced on a lot of stat categories. Both teams had pretty significant leads. But Mickey Williams, player of the game, with 14 points and 8 rebounds. Okay, the next game is at Fresno State. I very much expect that to be a loss. But the game after, we could rebound with a third win in 4 games. And that would be pretty significant for us. We're going to get through those 2 more games before checking in on the standings. That'll put us at the 10-game mark, so that'll mean 6 left to play in conference. So 6 left to play in the season. We're still at 8 right now, so we're halfway through the conference schedule with a 2-6 record. That definitely points towards relegation at this stage. Guaranteed we're still in the bottom 4.
You have new mail. You have new mail.
Okay, so Vanderbilt coming up there 12-7, Southern Illinois 13-9, which means both teams are probably going to be difficult games for us. The small forward Ryan out of Kansas right now, favorite for Player of the Year. Kentucky's leader is 3rd on that list. Oh, there you go. See, Kentucky, and it took a loss, sadly. So Kentucky has their 4th loss of the season before Georgia Tech finally moves to the top of the standings. I don't think it should have taken that. If they continue to win, they should move up. Look, I'm not ranked. Duh. RPI is 240. That is very much near the bottom. Alright. Sim this whole week. Let's get through it quickly, because that's where I want to have a checkpoint. Especially at this point, there's not a lot of minutes left in this episode, and I very much see that we can finish the season within this episode, which means I'm only going to get to televise 1 more game, and we'll see where we're at and what's left on the schedule on what's going to matter. We do lose to Fresno State as expected, but I've had another injury coming at a very bad time. And this time it's a starter. Senior Brandon Ross, our starting shooting guard. He's only getting 6.7 per game, but he's got a broken leg out for the rest of the season. So we just lost our starting shooting guard. And what was trouble already just got worse. So I might as well make the adjustments here so that the game doesn't do it on the fly. Wait, Henderson, are you back yet? No. So Henderson's out as well still. So let's just get these guys out of the mix. Okay, now sub-rotations. Redo the sub-matrix here. So Fry now starting and picking up 28 minutes. That's rough. That's gonna... That just put things into a difficult position on any chance of staying in the division for next season. Let's look at schedule here. So South Carolina, they're just 3-6, so we can equal them on record with a win. Yeah, it might still be able to be done. Vanderbilt, though, Vanderbilt's only 3-6, but their RPI is still 55. So they've had a tough go. I think that might be schedule more than anything. Southern Illinois, 4-5, RPI is 26. Boise State, 5-4 with a 99 RPI. And then we've got UNC Greensboro again, Virginia Commonwealth, and Northwestern. Which means I've probably only got maybe 2 more wins in me the rest of the way. So if we don't win this South Carolina game, we're done. We will absolutely be done. So let's go one day at a time so we can at least see the box score on that one. With maybe 2 minutes left here of time for this episode. I don't have time to televise these games, but there's not going to be much to see in that department as we struggle with that 7-13 record. This is going to come down to survival. We will see what happens in this game, though, because if we lose, guaranteed we're finished. We're going to be at the bottom of the standings, and we will get relegated. But if we win, we might have a chance, and that's why we'll check into the standings after this South Carolina game, just to see if there's still a chance, if we still have hope for this season, if there's still liquid in that glass, or whether we're going to throw in the towel. Alright, it's game day. Both teams on 7-13 records. Ouch. That helps our chances, but again, we just lost a key player. Can we get it done without him? If we had him, I liked our chances for this game. I'd say 60-40. But without him now, I think we're almost down to a 50-50 coin toss here. Coin toss goes our way. We get the win. 91-82 final score. That home court advantage was enough to push us over. Carr had 16. Chambers had 18. Fry in his first start, just 3 of 9, 2 of 7 beyond the arc, so they were almost all threes. But he goes 4 for 4 from the line. Kept himself down to 3 turnovers, only a +3 overall, but he does get 12 points for us, so he gets into double digits. And there you go. Ross, Henderson, Leonard, Windland not playing. That's expected. So we're down to, 10-man rotation is still quite a bit. Wow, they only had a 1-point lead, even though there were 11 lead changes. So I'm assuming that was very early in the game, back and forth, and then we started to pull away. Okay, this is that point where we'll check on things. Is there hope? 3-7. Okay, so we're above St. Joe's. We're now level with South Carolina. And we're one game away from possibly surviving this thing. That would depend on head-to-head records. We beat Wyoming. We lost to UNC Greensboro. We have not played Vanderbilt yet. That's our next game on the road. I'm not sure if we've played Southern Illinois yet or not. But that head-to-head record would then determine who gets into the conference tournament. And if we make the conference tournament, then that means we survived. If we don't, it means we were in that bottom four, which, of course, right now we are still in that bottom four. So we are now 6-6 at home, but still just 2-7 on the road. So you can see just how important that is. Everybody has at least a 500 record at home. We've got the worst. All right, we'll finish the week off. This would be our win of the season if we can get Vanderbilt on the road here. I'm not sure 4 wins is going to be enough to hang on. It's probably going to take 5 from the looks of the standings to survive this season with 6 to play. And it's going to roll over into next week.
You have new mail.
I don't think we've had a road victory in conference yet. I think all 3 wins have been at home. Yes, they have. All 3 wins have been at home in conference. So, Boise State, UNC only 8-13. Pretty even matchup, but we're at home for that one. So that's a definite potential win. But we need more than one. Like I said, it's going to take at least 2 wins. Look at that schedule again here for the final 6. Yeah, Vanderbilt. Okay, yeah, we have not played Southern Illinois yet. That's coming up. They're both 4-6, so. But RPI for both of them is quite high. Even Boise State, who are 5-5, and then there's UNC Greensboro. That's a must-win for us. Their RPI is 86. They're 4-6 in conference, 8-13 overall. They've lost to Florida and Kansas. But we're about evenly matched. All of these teams are in the top 100 RPI. I just have not had any signature wins to boost us up. But only 2 home games left in the final 6 games of the season. And a lot of games that are going to be difficult. The Northwestern one, I can write that one off. That's not going to happen. But of the last 5 games, there's some beatable teams. But the fact that we're on the road, the fact that we lost our starting shooting guard will be quite the challenge. But there's still a bit to play for here. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. But my time is, so I guess I'm going to have to roll into that next episode. And it'll be a good look here for the start of the series anyway, especially for those who didn't watch the last one, to see how the off-season kind of plays out. So we'll be taking a look at that into the next episode. That's going to do it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.